Hello. Buenos días, estrellitas. La Tierra les dice hola. Good morning, shrimplings. I think the music is coming through. Yeah, I thought it wasn't for a moment. Woo. How are we doing today? Good morning. Woo! Saturday. Sabadito. Sabadrinks. Hello. I see. Hello. Solis. Aegis, of course. My one and only white knight. Fritz, hello. Hi, Fubi. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Ave. Hi, Lord Trap. Hello, Gabe. Hi, Sonic Bean. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. I don't know. 6 p.m. is the new morning trend. Buenos dias. Buenas noches. Konbanwa. Good evening. whatever you might want to call it. Thank you so much for joining today. We have so many new submissions this time. I am very excited. As you see from the title, I was looking at the submissions that you guys sent. 6 p.m. gang. Thank you so much for being here. There. I was looking at the submissions that you guys sent for this week. And there's one theme, I think, that all of them seem to share pretty well. And that is connecting with the viewer. We're gonna get psychological in this one. Usually I'd be outside at this time of day, tuning into the stream, but earlier we had a bit of thunder. Not risking it this time. Oh yeah, no. Don't get like struck by lightning. you shouldn't be doing that. I wish I could have some thunder here, man. Oh yeah. I don't know how you little shrimplings are where you live. It's so dry right now here in Mexico. We're hitting fucking 35 degrees Celsius. It's insane. Absolutely insane. I really need a good night's sleep at some point. We're running on shrimp energy right now. All right. So, it hit 37 Celsius here. Oh my god. This is global warming. This is global warming, guys. This is what they don't tell you. And then the winters are gonna get colder. But it's okay. We shrimp survive. We're like the cockroaches of the sea. Shrimp together strong. So we're getting psychological a little bit on this art correction stream. Oh hi Roya, welcome. Welcome. A common topic I see, and it's also like, I think one of the things most artists either don't tell you or they don't, maybe they don't even recognize it, right? It's something so separate from technique and drawing and things like that, right? It's all about when you're a social media like artist creator, right? You want to share your drawings, you want to have people see them, and you want to have people like them. You have to be able to connect with them. You have to either be able to pull them in to your drawing. We got a submission that's from Cyberstar that is going to be very interesting to talk about. That it's a comic, right? It's like a story. And you know, there's like symbolism here and everything that Cyber, you know, maybe he could use better. And we have things like this one. This is our first drawing. It's by Atasoth, Dokisoth. I think it's their username here on YouTube. Solus says, TLDR, rage bait people into commenting and quote tweeting. I wouldn't say necessarily rage baiting. Rage baiting certainly works until a certain degree, right? I'm thinking of people like Hot Diggity Demon. back in the day, like way back in the day. Right now people know him maybe for like super cool animations, and he's wholesome. I think he has a podcast and everything. But back then, back in my day, he drew all sorts of offensive drawings. He has a collection of very racist and offensive Steven Universe drawings, and they went viral exactly like Solis's, because he rage baited people into commenting and sharing. It's the same with a bunch of artists. Let's say Stone Toss or Antunes, I think. Their whole thing is rage baiting people into commenting and liking, right? You see it, if you are on TikTok, you see it a lot. But and I'm gonna show you here from what I've learned from icons such as Naoki Saito, which is one of the main illustrators for the Pokemon TCG game, and he also did some character designs for Mamusume, right? How the Japanese artists manage this connection with people, so that it's not something, you know, necessarily mean-spirited or to offend you or anything, right? But to just make the viewer part of your art and have them immediately connect with the message that you're trying to send. Low-key kind of genius marketing. Oh yeah, Kaleri also does it a lot. Kind of genius marketing. It depends, because it's really easy, right? Either to go this route. Another route that I see lots of artists take is the not safe for work route. If you can generally draw, you don't even have to draw good anatomy, but if you have a good understanding of like composition and maybe like, I don't know, ideas, special ideas, you can grow really fast from doing not safe for work. The thing here is, think about whether you like it, right? Whether it makes you happy. There's a reason why so many not safe for work artists that are popular stop posting after a while, right? Like on Twitter, or even they stop posting the crop versions on their Instagram, right? And they disappear completely. Or artists, you know, that usually went the offensive route, suddenly, you know, they find themselves like the heat is too much to handle. Because when you go viral from things like that, you know, it's usually, most of the time, I would like to believe that it's not because the artists themselves are awful, but, you know, like we're talking about, they're trying to go viral and they're trying to have their work seen, right? But they have to put on a persona all the time. And, you know, if that's not something that you're into, if there's one day that you wake up and you say, you know what, I kind of don't feel like drawing, I don't know, boobies today, right? Or I would rather draw something different, something that excites me more, that it's not just not safe for work, or, you know, some offensive drawing. I want to do more than that. But, you know, at that point, your brand is so much like like Kaleri, right? The anime, real life kind of offensive guy, or like Stone Toss, right? The transphobic so white people, the little white characters comic guy, right? The day that you want to do something different, your audience is not gonna take it well. You're gonna lose a lot of people. So going those routes, you definitely can do that, but, you know, be prepared to, like, if that's someone that you're not, you're gonna grow tired of it and you're gonna want to leave it, and it's going to, in the long run, in my own opinion, my personal opinion, is going to staunch you artistically, because you're not thinking of how you can be better as an artist. You're thinking of, how can I get people to react the most this drawing, right? And that's if you're into drawing itself, it's just antithetical, right? If you want to be like an influencer or like a content creator, sure, maybe. But if you're really serious about drawing and you want all of that time, all of those hours that you've invested into learning anatomy, into learning anime, into looking at references to matter, just, you know, it's easy to not go that route. Their picture is a case of that. I remember her doing a really good Final Fantasy VII animation. It was actually so cool. The first thing that came to mind was Ryan art. Well, Ryan art, I I didn't mean for this to become like a thing of like, oh, this artist does that. Ryanad is I think an interesting case, because in her case she's like teasing it. She's a master. She's an absolute master at connecting with her audience, because if you look at her art, all of her drawings are a degree of tasteful, but they're also like in all of her drawings, and it's something that we talked about last week, right? There's dialogue, there's text, there's the dokis directly asking the viewer something. Her most recent Natsuki drawing, I think it was like, you really think I'd be dressing cute for you? She's directly addressing the viewer, and that's why her art is so massive. Not because maybe the risque element works, but her success is 100% linked to the fact that she addresses the viewer directly, right? And that's what we're gonna do today with these drawings that you guys sent me. Let's try to find your own voice to be able to address the viewers. Oh, hi, Betty! Welcome! Stop pointing those knobs at me. No, I will never stop pointing. Points. So the whole point of the stream right now, for the people who send submissions, it's something that I noticed that you guys kind of like, not that you're missing it, but you have to take it to the extreme, right? You have to really exaggerate it to get it. So let's do that. First drawing by @thesoth/DokiSoth. First drawing. That was my clap. So taking in mind what we just said, connecting with the viewer, I don't think that putting MC's face is wrong. But, you know, instead of making her think about MC with her letter, right? Right now, I feel like, from what I get to this image, is like she just finished writing the love letter, right? And her heart is pounding really fast at the idea of giving it to him, right? And how he looks at her every morning or every day that they meet, right? Or he's wearing like casual clothes, so I'm guessing that maybe they have some sort of outing together or something. But yeah, that's the idea I get about this drawing. That you want you want to convey that she just finished her letter and she's thinking about giving it to him and she's becoming really nervous, right? I would say, in order to include more of the viewer, why not, and this is my idea, right? So that the message doesn't get entirely lost. Why not make it so that the viewer is MC? Right? And we're gonna do this in a little bit. Give me a second. Eris, I sent you a message. Important. Things off the stream, but important. So let's make the viewer MC. Instead of having her think about him, let's duplicate this one, rasterize it. There. I feel also like the background color is a little bit, what would I call it? Like antithetical? Like it looks, the blue color, I think it looks a little sad. Well, I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah. It's one of the things that you don't really think about, really, right? Because so much of what we think when we're artists that are learning, so much of what we think will make you popular is quote unquote drawing good, and that almost has that has like almost never anything to do. That's why we have so many artists that are famous and popular and they draw in such different ways. And that's why we have so many artists that draw and render really good and are very talented, but their drawings cannot hit more than 100 likes on any social media, right? It's because of that. It's lacking the connection. So I'm gonna get rid of the blue, because the blue with the pink, I get it, it looks well, but to me it looks a little sad. It doesn't look like she's excited. It doesn't look like it's like an important an important part of the day, it looks a little gloomy. Maybe it'll fit Sayori, but she doesn't necessarily look sad, right? And by the Doki Doki text, I feel like she's just excited. So I'd say let's make the background a little bit more excited, or not, actually. Something that I found out right now with the rise in AI is that drawings with elaborate backgrounds will only get popular if the artist is already popular themselves. Right? If the artist already has 10,000 followers, that drawing, the drawing with a very elaborate background will reach a lot, right? But there's a reason why we see every day more and more of those AI traced artists that all they draw is anime girls in white backgrounds. And that's because the AI algorithm itself, especially on Twitter with Grok, right? The way it recognizes which posts to push is because of the way that it recognizes the image, the character, right? And it's way easier for the robot, for the AI to notice, oh, this character is Sayori DDLC, if it's just her in a white background. This is a secret. I think I've told it before to some DDLC artists before in a server that we're all in. But you know, learning backgrounds right now has never been as lax as before, because you're actively helping the AI algorithm to be able to recognize your drawing faster, and so push it to people that might like it. It's also why there's so many drawings of the dokis that go popular. And if you notice, their clothes are either they're always their canon clothes. You don't always see a DDLC character, you know, drawing that has like a different outfit or different clothes blow up. And that's because the algorithm has a really hard time, and people too, honestly, if you don't put it like in the tags and stuff, it has a really hard time identifying which character it is. So if, for example, drawing DDLC or you're drawing fan art of any kind, if you want your drawing to be seen for more people and maybe go a little viral, try to stick to the canon look, the canon outfit as much as possible. You know, you stretch it as much as you can. Or you could do, for example, what Ryan R does, which is drawing all the girls together at the same time. Seeing them as a group makes people immediately understand that they're supposed to be the dokis, right? Because they're all together, and seeing those characters together, you know, it's a symbol pattern recognition, right? You see brown ponytail, you see orange hair, you see long purple hair, and you see pink funny banana with pigtails, and it's like, ah, yeah, those are the dokis. Whereas maybe if you leave one of them without any of their canon elements, both the algorithm and people, right, are gonna have your audience are gonna have a really hard time figuring out which character it's supposed to be. Especially with Yuri right now, because there's a character from Frieren that looks too much like Yuri. Okay, so let's check composition, right? You have, even when we had MC here, right? All of this is empty space. All of this part, we have this very big empty space. I say, since this drawing is about Sayori, let's just make her front and center, right? Because this is all about her, all about how she's feeling. Bruh, I'll have to rewatch this later. Not home yet. Don't worry, Doki-san. It's okay. The bot is gonna be here. Let's make a layer new cut. Let's put it down here. If Sayori is the main focus of the drawing, blow it up, right? Really show that she's the main, that she's the main character, right, of your drawing. And now, since we ourselves are gonna be MC, we can totally change this. In here, for example, the little cloud mixes too much with her sweater. Let's make it white. Or yeah, I think white will work. Or another color. We can do like a bubble. We'll figure it out. Let's change the idea of the scene, right? We've gone from she's just finished writing her letter you know, and she's thinking about MC. Let's do it. Oh my god, she's about to give it to him. Right? This is the tense moment in so many like animes and dramas and things like that. Right? Let's give her... Oh, I could just pick the white with the... with this one. I don't know why I didn't do it like that. Modify, expand. There we go. Right? Let's make it the moment in every romance anime ever to exist, right? The most important moment, which is the confession. The I'll meet you behind the school gates, come meet me. Right? Let's make MC a little bit larger. And let's complete Sayori's body. Now, another thing, since we're changing the message, right, for it being like, oh, she's about to give it to him, let's make her a little bit more flustered, right? This is another important part of connecting with your audience. You have to be sure that your message gets across really clearly and has no space, no space for malinterpretations. And not even malinterpretations, people thinking it's a bad thing, but just people thinking something else is happening. Right? Let's do the shading here. So let's make it so if she's about to give it to him, and her heart is pounding and she can't deal with the excitement, right? I like that she's looking directly at you. Why do I keep getting late? I just go. Hi, Alice. Welcome. I like that she's looking directly at you. I think it's very bold and brave of Sayori. It's a little unlike her, but you know, that's why it's exciting in a way. That might be just me. But let's definitely make her way more flustered, right? Let's name this Big Blush. The way you do blush in illustrations is pretty much your own personal like preference. I personally like, and you're gonna see it right now, I really like the tons of little lines across and the lines that go beyond the face. There's artists that do it like this, right? Like little circles. There's artists that do it like, I would call it Pokemon because that's where I first saw it with Ash, like his cheeks. Like that, there's lines in different directions. There's people who do a bunch of lines like this. But blush is your personal preference. I personally prefer the one where it's like a bunch of little lines, you know, moving around, following a little bit of the shape of the face, and that they go beyond the face, the head. I think it looks cute. I don't know. I like that when you zoom out and when people are gonna see it like in a thumbnail or like in their Twitter timeline or their Instagram like Explore tab, they're gonna immediately be able to see it. And let's add a little bit of an airbrush just to really sell it, right? We don't want it to look necessarily overdone. And we don't want to make it look like she has a red mustache. So we lower the intensity a bit. It's just to give it a little oomph, a little extra, right? You see before and after, before and after. But again, we're not going for red mustache. We're going for something low-key, low-key. So if the white boy helps Grok to promote art, using the black boy would be playing in hardball. Actually, getting your values super dark is gonna play against you, obviously, right? Because to Grok, it just be like a black blob. That's why if you haven't seen the first bot, we talked a lot about values and composition, grayscaling. You should definitely watch that to help your art and your subject pop up. If it's all the same shade of gray, the same shade of light, then yeah, definitely the algorithm is going to have a harder time picking up what it is to push it. And also people are going to be like, I can't really make this image, and if I stare at it any longer, it's going to hurt my head, so I'll just drop it. Soft blush. Right? I also think, even though she's looking forward, she's not looking too nervous yet. So let's just make her a little bit more nervous. Let's flip up her eyebrows. Literally just flipping the eyebrows. Let's complete the hair here. Check if your art program, like for corrections like this, once your drawing is done, check if your art program has a function of mode for your brush, and check if it has a behind one. That one makes you able to not draw on top of your art. Like if you look, I'm in the same layer as everything, but I'm drawing behind what's already painted. So it helps a lot to like change drawings fast without having to necessarily, you know, paint on top of other things or being careful like that for it to take like a bunch of time. Complete the shadow here. Again, this is probably not gonna end up perfect. It's just an idea of what it could be. It's on Atasoth to redraw it or to change the meaning. You know, this is just a suggestion. Another thing that I'm seeing, this is a little bit more on the technical level. You have two different Atasoth. You have two different types of line weight here and here in the hair, right? You have one that's really thin in the hair and then really thick in the body. You should either do thin lines inside and thick lines outside, or all thin lines or all thick lines, because like this, it kind of it looks a little bit like not careful, right? As if you just and I know this is probably not true, right? You definitely cared enough for this drawing. It looks really cute, but it looks like you didn't give it second thought to how it would look finished already. So just be careful with that. Either stick everything with the same thick line art. There's an artist I really like called Mari Kyun, who draws everything with very thick line art and very poppy colors and stuff. Or if you want a more anime look, I would recommend going really thin with your brush for all of your lines, and then concentrate on the shading. That's what's gonna make your drawing pop. Just a little thing, right? So now she is nervous, she's pounding, and let's connect with the viewer a bit more. Let's make them MC. Let's make them. Let's make this like a bubble. I think it'd be nice. Let me... Yeah. Bubble, bubble, bubble. Ignore my circles. Let's make this like a bubble, and let's do a little line across it. You're kind of in the way. We are drawing the bubble. Oh, right, obviously. If we're making the viewer MC, we have to be able to have a little tail that points out to the front. Whenever you can, whenever you're doing things that are close to the edge, try to separate them a little, or make it look intentionally like they're breaking like into the edge. If not, it gives a very... It's like a... I don't know how to explain it. It's like a little bit of like... Not even like psychological or anything. It's just like... It makes me feel anxious. And I think a lot of people too, when there's a drawing that's touching the edges too carefully, is like... this looks a little weird, right? So be mindful of your edges. Let's make the little tail, right? Because it's the person, the viewer, that's MC. So let's make a little tail like that's pointing towards us. Just add a small airbrush shadow to separate the bubble from the actual thing. Yes and no. Because it depends, again, on the look that you're going for. In anime, for example, all of these bubbles are something that's like graphic, that's on top of the drawing. So there's no need to separate it from things in the real world, because they're above the real world. Adding a shadow to it, it's gonna make it look as if it's inside the actual scene, right? And at least for this kind of anime drawings, we don't want that. The bubble itself has to be enough to separate itself from the background with the lines and the colors. And let's make MC surprised as well. Right? How people might actually how people might feel being in MC's shoes. You know, it's I would add like a oh my god, but I think it's a little bit more, MC is a little bit more low key, and so is most people. So it's just gonna be like oh, you know, I wasn't expecting this today, kind of thing. And let's make him look surprised, right? Like his eyes are bulging out a little. Well, not bulging out, but they're a little bit smaller than normal. And I think MC has like brown eyes, right? I think so. Or like yellow. I'm not sure. I'd be lying if I said that I remember MC's eyes right like this on the spot. Like, just getting the idea across. Oh yeah, and the white of the eyes, obviously. There's some artists that don't like drawing the white of the eyes, or they make it like super non-obvious. I think it gives it a different feeling to your drawings. I haven't tried it myself. It makes me really anxious to not be able to see the sclera. But that might just be a me thing. And this is just a personal touch that I like, is adding the shadow of the eyelash on top of the sclera. And we can make him a little bit more flustered as well. So now it's a good cute moment between both of them where their feelings are a little bit in sync. And let's make his blush a little bit more pronounced. I think the bubble might be like this. We can even push it further, right, into the anime way, how they have their little like shock lines, like oh. And then we have Sayori about to give him like a love letter. We can add again, this is personal preference, like maybe like a droplet of sweat because she's nervous. Lots of people into sweaty woman. Don't underestimate the power of the single drop of sweat. And now that we have all of this, we can add, like you had in your original drawing, like doki doki words around it, right? We can even make it. There's a type in graphic design where the letters just repeat endlessly in the background, like this, right? And it's not like just floating around, but it's completely covering the background. And I think that'll fit this drawing really well, something like this. And this way, we also don't need to make an elaborate background, right? We just have a bunch of doki dokis that really, 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 really get the point across, right? Like, oh my god, her heart is really pounding. She must be really, really nervous. Let's just get all of these together. Let's merge them. Yeah. And the background, let's make it a funner color, right? Let's make it like a... We can go with a white, or we can go with a light pink or something. The doki doki might be too harsh. And we can add, again, if we go for like a funny slice of life, anime romantic moment. We can add some little hearts. Like, oh my god, she's so love-stricken, and she went through so much writing this letter, and now she has to give it to MC, and he's just as surprised as she is, right, to see it. And this is what we have. This is what we started with. Right? And this is what we have now. I feel like the newer one that we did really, like, again, I think it gives it a different meaning. It looks like she's actually nervous and she's actually really excited to give MC her love letter, right? And she looks embarrassed and she looks a little sweet too. And we have MC reacting as well. And we're all seeing this from his perspective. And he's like, oh my god, she's actually gonna do it. It actually happened, right? The fated moment in the game where we are the ones that confess she actually beat us to it. In comparison to this one, where, you know, she looks a little bit too cool for it. And I would say it's not very Sayori. This is so Twitter coded. Exactly. But that's the point. That's the point, right? That's why we're here. We're here to figure out how to get more likes, how to get more views, how to make your drawings resonate more with people. And that is going full throttle on storytelling. Always, always, always. To be able to connect with your viewer. Page 2, she gets rejected. You could totally make it a mini comic too. But that's the thing, right? You invite, since this is the moment of the confession, you invite the person, whoever's watching it, to be in MC's shoes. And then you have all the comments saying, yes, Sayori, I love you too. Or, oh my god, I was waiting for your confession, right? And that is baiting comments in a different way. That doesn't require you to be hyper flirty or hyper erotic or hyper like offensive and mean, right? This is how you connect with your audience like that. You make them have the choice. The 3K likes, 3K retweets for good ending things. that's another type of bait. It works with a certain subset of people. I've seen that only work really in like the erotic undress drawings. Maybe it could be like, okay, let's get to 500 retweets and learn his answer or something like that. But I think this invites people more to be in MC's shoes and decide or not whether they'll accept her confession. So this is number one. This is number one. I just realized I didn't make the white background part of the drawing. So let me just get it like this again. Hold on. There we go. Okay. And this is the white background for the drawing. Yeah. And you know, you sign it. You can sign it. Now, with signing your drawings, so there's two kinds of things. Just wanted to say hi. Hello, FNAF fan. Hello. Thank you for saying hello. Thank you, Poppy. No worries. For signing your art, it depends on whether you care about seeing your art reposted without credit or being used without credit, because most people, when they like a drawing, I was 14 once. I know we were all 14 once. We like using drawings that we like as profile pictures or as banners, right? And obviously the most important part of any drawing is that we like how the character in it looks. So if you care about that and you still want people to know where your art comes from, I would put your signature nearby. Right, you can do it at the south, nearby the face of your main character. You like very nearby. I'd like personally to make it like white, and I put like a little stroke around it, and then I lower the opacity, right, so that it doesn't invade too much into the drawing. but nearby your main character, so that if people use it as a profile picture, they know where they got it, right? For some people, for a lot of, for example, like Japanese artists, they feel like this completely breaks the drawing and they don't like it. So what they do, what you could also do, is something a la Krypton, like how they sign their Hatsune Miku art, right? You go like art by Atasoth. And maybe you can put the date, right? Is May 2026. I know the date. And then you add like a stroke. And you make it really, like, not that small, but like around here, right? And you have a very low-key, like, signature. Something like that. And, or if you really care about reposts and you're very sure that you're gonna go around all of Twitter, all of Pinterest, like some artists do, right? And take down reposts, you can leave it like unsigned. I would not do that, especially because of how the internet is. I would go with either this or this, right? And you can lower the opacity maybe. And that way your main drawing is unchanged, and you just have a way for people to know where they got it from. My personal like is this one. You can even change, you know, if you say, oh, the black stroke looks really bad, you can just go and make it pink or something to go with the background, right? Like this. Play around with where you'd like it. I've seen lots of artists do it like this, and their drawings don't look... I don't think any less of their drawings for it, right? Nekorina, for example, she puts like a whole little square of text nearby the faces, and that's why. So that if people use it as profile picture, they cannot completely crop your credit. Never post art without credit or you're a bum. Okay, bye-bye. Listen, there's just sometimes it's kids, right? Most of the time it's kids that really like your art. I never take it as an offense. Because it means that they really liked it so much that they wanted to be a part of them, a part of themselves. I personally don't mind my art getting reposted without credit. But I know there's lots of people who do, because, you know, you also have to grow as an artist. Now, next, drawing. Let's do the clap. Next, drawing. We have this cute little Natsuri drawing by Gabe. There it is. Gabe sent this in. We have Natsuki and Yuri. I guess, like, because of the colors, they're walking home together, right? And we can see even a little Monika and Sayori. Like, wow, this has actually happened. I'm so happy, right? And Yuri's like, you're okay? Natsuki, obviously, being very tsundere. I'm fine, right? So, now, what's going on with this picture? I feel, and I don't know, Shrimplings, you tell me. When you see this image, I see it as ship art, right? I see it like ship art, like they're walking home together, and it's supposed to be a romantic moment. But what do you guys see when you see, you know, the Monika and the Sayori reaction, right? And they're both, none of them is blushed, and none of them is like particularly even happy to be around each other, right? Yuri has almost all of her back turned against Natsuki, who's walking up front, right? What do you guys, what do you Shrimplings think? I think it's ship art, but I feel like for ship art, it's not pushed enough so that we can know that it's ship art. I would, if this is actually ship art, I don't know, Gabe, appear in the comments in the chat. Is this supposed to be romantic? Ship art. In the meantime, let's start separating the elements of this. Personally, I'd add a wide outline to the text since it's barely visible. That's something we could do, yes. We could also make speech bubbles. I'm a big fan of speech bubbles because you don't have to change anything about the text. Rasterize. Let's start cutting out the characters because we're also gonna fix that background. The way the background is done, I can see the edges of the I get what you were going for, but I can see the edges, the hard edges against the soft edges, and it just kind of makes it look a little muddy. So let's fix that first. Layer, new layer, be a cut. Have Yuri. Bye, Yuri. And now we have Natsuki. So what do I mean when I say the colors look muddy? What's happening is that too much of your drawing looks dark in comparison to the parts of your drawing that are supposed to be light. And you know, I'll show you right now. This is about values. I'll show you right now with a black and white layer. It depends again on the message that you want to give with your drawing. Look, if I do like a black and white layer right now, you see how most of your characters are like dark, and even the light parts, like even Monica and Sayori stand out more, right, than what's supposed to be your main characters here. You can check the values by putting a completely white layer. Like you just use the bucket tool and you do a white layer and then you put it in color mode and you can see your grayscale, right? The humble texture brushes. Is that technically chicken scratching? No, not really. I think he was just trying to like blend the background. But yeah, again, back to the values. You know, your main characters are way darker than this part in the back, and they're the ones that are supposed to have to stand out. So let's brighten up the colors a little bit. And let's also finish cutting the little girlies from the background. With the text, layer, new layer, yeah, cut. Okay, so if we wanna, let's do the circle again and either choose whether you want it to be soft or if you want it to be hard, because it looks like you tried to make it hard here, but then went at it with a soft brush, but didn't actually, like, you know, soften the hard edges. So it looks a little, it looks more like a portal to me rather than part of the background. So let's change that. Let's make it just a circle, like a hard edge circle. Why a hard edge circle? Personal preference. Again, this is lots of this. Like modify. Again, lots of things. This is what I mean when I say that art really is a look into the artist's soul. Because your art in little things like that is gonna be filled with things that you and only you like. Well, I mean, maybe other people like it, right? But what I mean is that it's gonna be filled with things that you yourself prefer over others. And artists that don't do this, it shows in their art, and it comes kind of like meek and a little bit like shy, right? But you shouldn't be shy. You shouldn't be shy. This is your art. No one else in the world can do it but you. This drawing that Gabe did the way that he did it, no one else could have done it because it didn't come from his mind, from their mind, right? It came from his mind and his mind only. So, I'm also gonna cut out the text. Let's make it also a little bit easier to read, like Sully said. It's a little hard. my cutting is not let's against the background. Let's go. We can do this. Sorta, kinda. all of these edges should be clean, right? Against the new background. Emphasis on should. But I want to get to more drawings today too. So, let's finish the sunset circle. How's a sunset? Sunset is darker on the top, right? Because the sunlight is fading. And I'm gonna do the inside with a soft brush. I think it's like pinkish then. And then we can see a little bit of the night that's coming on. Depends on the time of your sunset, I guess. I think since it's an anime sunset, it should be a little bit lighter, right? Like just orange and yellow. So let's make the bottom part lighter. And then let's just go with an orange for the top. Like a soft orange. Like that. It's way lighter than what we used to have here. Right? And it's actually coming from the... Like, it's actually reflecting on the sky. And not on, like, an unknown location. The background I need to work on. Why they running across the room? Make Natsuki below Yuri's shoulder height for the meme. I don't know. Also, that's personal preference, right? The way you draw the duckies and stuff. So I'm not gonna touch on that. Now, again, as I said before, I think, in my opinion, this looks like ship art. You know, like they're supposed to suddenly, for some reason, be getting along. Let's just clean up a little bit of the shadow, the purple shadow on Yuri's face. For some reason, for some magical reason that not even Monica or Sayori understand, right? They're starting to get along, and they're actually walking home together. I would see Natsuki as she's a tsundere. Tsunderes are known to be very protective of the true feelings. Right, in anime, in media, in every like possible way, the tough exterior but soft interior. I would say that it's important that she's a little flustered right now. Not even if it's ship art, but just because she's embarrassed to be showing that she doesn't actually dislike Yuri, that she actually likes to be her friend, or she actually wants to get her to know better enough to, you know, walk home next to her all the way. In the sunset. Hi, Jose. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So I would add a blush just for that reason. Fluster and looking at the other side, maybe. That could be it. That could be it. I like that they're looking at each other. But yeah, if Natsuki's embarrassed to show her true feelings of like friendship and stuff, I would make her look the other side. Right? Like she cannot stand to look at Yuri like, oh, you're bothering me, right? She has the anger little anime symbol. Like, oh, you're bothering me. Go away or stop it. You know, don't talk to me about it. I think I actually like that idea. So let's do that. Let's move her eyes to be looking the other way. Right, and let's put the white behind again. And connect the part of the eye that I deleted. She's looking the other way, annoyed, you know, not being able to stand Yuri stare at her. And, you know, we can add a little bit of blush. Again, not the same blush as we did with Sayori. The amount of blush depends on how you see this drawing I gave, if it's supposed to be romantic or not. If it's just like a little bit of flustering, you can go away with adding just a little bit. Right? There she is. I would actually make it a little bit brighter so that it doesn't get lost in the shadow. Here. And here. And we're also gonna fix the light here. The light of a sunset, I guess it depends on where you place it. right? Depends on where they're placed in relation to the sun. In this case, you put it over here. And it looks like they're facing straight towards it, right? So let's just fix the shape a little more. Because it just looks like the sun is doing this, and that makes your character appear a little flat. It doesn't make them look like 3D objects, right? You have to think about the three-dimensionality. So let's just add a little bit of shadow in places where the light wouldn't actually reach. How do you know if the light doesn't reach something? It's your own mental library. You have to start looking at yourself under the sunset, right? You have to start looking at yourself in any sort of like different lights to know how it makes shapes look at a certain angle, at a certain degree, at a certain time of day, right? In this one, for example, it's her stomach and stuff. Her stomach would be like covered in shadow here. And we would just see a little bit of light on the edges of her uniform. Same with the skirt, right? Maybe it will only hit the utmost far right of the pleats, but not all of it. Same with her legs. Her legs are actually okay, right? Let's just be careful because if your shadow does like this, right? If you're just putting your shadow down like this, it completely breaks down the illusion of volume that your drawing can have, right? You have to use the light to help people say, oh, okay, this is a cylinder, and this is the hand, and the hand is gonna look like this, right? These are different body parts. So the way the light hits them is gonna be different amongst each other. In this part, for example, we have the light hitting Yuri on this side of her arm and part of her chest. In this one as well, it's her little flaps. We have her backpack should also have some light. We're gonna fix the light in a little bit. We're gonna make it way brighter than it is right now. And in here, for example, the light of the backpack is only going to happen here and maybe a little bit here. Because in here, I would think is like behind the arm. So the light wouldn't hit it anymore. Just little things like that. You know, you have to start paying attention to how light behaves and how light works. This one. Yeah, I would actually leave it because the arm is like, it looks like it's bent backwards. The light would only hit her hand and not the other side of the arm. If it's like a cylinder or like a cube. I know, it's a lot, and it looks like I'm just doing random shapes. But all of this comes because I've seen myself in sunset light. I've seen others in sunset light. You know, people watching is one of the things you can do in order to be able to draw even more and expand your visual library as an artist. You people watch and you notice how they move, how they move when they talk, how they look when the light hits them a certain way. When do they look scary, right? Like how can someone look scary? How can someone look friendly? How can someone look embarrassed or in love? And that way you can get all sorts of ideas for your drawings on how to represent certain things. In here, for example, you didn't draw light in Yuri's legs, right? And if Natsuki has light on her legs, Yuri should have them too. And in her hair is the same like that, right? You go like this. When these two are different shapes, we have it's the hair and then the back of the hair. So the light is gonna hit them differently. And this one too, since it's a 3D shape with volume, the light is gonna hit on one side and then it's gonna start darkening, right? This is what we represent with cell shade. We don't do that soft gradient towards the shadow. We just cut it really straight, really flat. And it's like, okay, this part has light and this other part doesn't. right? And it's the same here with Natsuki and her hair. In this one, you make it as just one shape, but you know, separate your shapes, and that's gonna help people figure out the shapes way better. The feeling, the light, so that it looks more akin to how it looks in real life. Learning how to shade, to be able to learn how to shade as well, something that I really recommend is just learning how cubes and pyramids, this part of the hair, for example, this one should be in light because it's the inside of her hair, in shadow. It shouldn't be in light. The inside of her hair, so there's no way the light could be getting inside, you know, going around her face and stuff. You have to learn how to shade cubes, how to shade cylinders, and pyramids and spheres, and that's pretty much all you need. Once you learn that, you will see any shape in your drawing and you can like shade it. But also, you know, there are certain things that behave way different to how you expect. If you look at your arm, like, and how it behaves in light, it looks way different to anything that you could imagine. So watch out for that. In this part, for example, the back of her hair, I would also see some light. Right, it just all the ways use your light to define the shape more, not to just, you know, like hide it, to flatten it. All roads lead to cubes. Yes. Me being scared because a human-sized realistic shrimp is looking at me in the sunset. Okay, so we have this, and now the problem that we had earlier is that our main heroines look darker than the ones that are supposed to be in the back, right? This is not necessarily a bad thing, like we learned from values. We have things that are closer to the camera are gonna be darker than things that are furthest away. The problem here is that the black, for example, is the same black as this one, right? And the light here is way darker than the light in here. Oh no, it's actually the same. Let's make it a little lighter so that they can shine a little bit more through contrast. First, let's make these two little goobers. When you have something in the background, right, and it's furthest away, and when I say it's lighter, everything has to be lighter. Not only the colors, but the line art as well. So let's make it so that the color of this line art is not the same as this line art. We'll just add a luminosity layer. Okay, that's too much. Let's do like a pin light. Yeah, pin light is gonna work. Let's change it to orange though, because of the sunset and everything. That way, they truly are lighter than the ones on top, in the front. Right now, everything about them is lighter than the main heroines in the front. And now for our heroines, which is Yuri and Natsuki. Yuri. Let's just make the light look a little brighter. Let's add a... I would use an overlay layer. Heart light, it's gonna make it look too much of the color, and the way light works is that it's not like that. Have to change the... Aha, just like that. And you go through all of your light parts. And it's also gonna do this really cool thing at the edge. You see that? You see that? That's the cool edge. That's the cool edge that people talk about. Obviously, do it more carefully than what I am doing it right now. Right now. Some people even do the cool edge separately. And now it truly looks like they're actually being hit by like a warm sunlight. Right? Not only they're lit, but it's a warm sun from the sunset, because it can get really, really bright. This one here too. We're making the lights pop against the shadows, making this difference really like how would you say, like really evident, really obvious. If we go back to our black and white layer, now you can see the light parts look way more bright than the dark parts. This is called contrast, and contrast is always gonna be catchy to the human eye. Also, in here, for example, you drew the nose light here when the nose light would be on the other side because the light is hitting from this way, right? Like this. So let's fix that as well. Always keep in mind where your light comes from. Same with Natsuki, you did it on the other side, the light, when it should be on this side. And let's keep going with our overlay layer. Okay, Yuri seems to be done. And now with Natsuki. We're separating the light and the shadow even more to create contrast and make it more catchy to the human eye. By doing this as well, making it as obvious, as evident, as strong as we can, it's easier for the viewer, for the person that's looking at your drawing, to place themselves in the scene, right? They go, oh yeah, I've been in sunsets like this. I know what they feel like. I know how they look like. I feel like I'm really there. And that's what we're looking for, right? Again, that connection with your viewer. Letting your viewer also be there, part of the action, and something special. That something special is happening and they're there to see it. Because that's what drawing for social media and stuff is about, right? Letting your viewer be part of the action. Maybe it's a little bit too yellow. Let's make it a little wider. Like this. Yeah. Let me put on some more musiquita. Let's go with lo-fi. Sure, why not? And now that we have this, if we zoom it out, one thing to know, if you should start an art class. Baby, I don't know. That'd be nice. That would be nice. If once you know your values are correct, is if you zoom out and you can tell how your shapes, what your shapes are supposed to be and how they're supposed to be lit, and the overall like scene. Right? And in this one, they come across really well. We can make Natsuki's eyes and face, same with Yuri and their hair and things like that, right? Something that if we try doing with the original drawing, we go at this, right? And we make it big as well. And we zoom out. It's a little harder to see. You can see that it's there, but it's not as obvious as this one, right? You see the difference? Before and after. Before and after. So help your viewer, guide them to know how the scene is supposed to look like, right? How it's supposed to be. Oh, I see that I forgot Natsuki's eyeshadow here. I wouldn't, again, it's a personal preference, but making the shadow of the eye go all the way to the middle makes it look, in my opinion, a little bit too heavy. I like doing it just a slight shadow, like right under the eyelash. I feel like it makes the eye look a little bit more open. In my opinion, a little bit more anime. But again, this is your own personal touch, your own personal preference, not necessarily law. Let's change the background for it to be white, like how you had it. And for the text, now for the... and look, the circle is doing this really cool thing where it fades away with the bottom of the background and then it goes up. I think that's really nice. If you want to help separate your shapes better, some purists in illustration will say that you should never put anything dark really close to the faces, like in the background and stuff, because it's gonna direct the eye in a very loaded way. It's gonna make it look too busy. So you could also add maybe a little bit of light, like a halo, around them. Right? Like that. And let's fade it a little bit more with the background. And it makes your characters pop even more, right? When we zoom out, it's like, whoa, they're actually there. It's like maybe a glow they emit. This is all rule of cool. It doesn't necessarily have a theoretical purpose. Rule of cool is it works because it looks cool. It's not because it has to make any sense. And if you want to do anime art or stylized illustration, rule of cool is gonna be basically your bread and butter of each day. Now, for the text, we have many things that we can do. In my opinion, in my personal opinion, leaving the text be just, you know, we can make them like you had it color coded so that we know who's talking. You're asking, are you okay? Right? Color coded and it's white. You have it color coded so that we know who's talking. I don't remember what she's saying. What is she saying? Is she saying yes? Dummy? I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm ... fine. Very flustered, Natsuki. Right, with her feelings. If you leave it like this, you'll find that if you try to color like do it, once you have a more elaborate background, it's gonna be really hard to make it like look. You could add like a stroke outside it, but what that also does is that, I don't know if you notice, it's gonna be a little bit hard to know who talks first, who doesn't talk, who talks later, right? In this way, by keeping it like one above the other, you have to have like a hierarchy if you want to leave it like this, right? So in this one, for example, we know that Yuri talks first because it's on the very top, right? She's asking, are you okay? And then Natsuki is saying, yes, I'm fine, right? And then we can have the other two gossipy ladies. What are they saying in the original? So rare and I'm so happy. Let's make it smaller. By making these little messages in the back, I think it's a good way to keep your viewer entertained, right? It's like a little treat that they get if they stare at the drawing longer than they have. And I'm so happy. Sayori's just happy that they're finally being friends. Oh. Let's make it so that they don't cut together. They don't get any stroke because we're not supposed to see them right away, right? But now what you're gonna notice is that it looks, in my opinion, a little cluttered. What I really like, what does Sayori look like Bo? She doesn't look like Bo. She looks like Sayori. What I find about this is that, I don't know, to me, it looks like the text is a little bit airy. It makes it look a little bit messy, right? So, in my personal opinion, again, my personal preference, I think it's best if you add some speech bubbles. They can even be like anime speech bubbles as well. Name this one Speech Judy. Let's make it a color that I can see first, and then we turn it to white. And the cool thing about speech bubbles is that once you can decide the size of them first, and then you adjust your text to it. That way you know if your text is a little bit too big or if it's not gonna be like understandable. This one, for example, are you okay? we have to make it a little bit smaller. And then the Natsuki, I'm fine. Right? What a cute drawing. And we add stroke to them. And I need to right? In my opinion, it just makes it look a little bit more cohesive. It makes it look more like a little comic. And these ones in the back we can leave like this because it's like they're supposed to be second plane, right? In the background. We're not supposed to have to see them. Right? They're like a secret there. I think that we can leave them like that and the person can totally figure out what's going on. But yeah, this is what I would do. Connect with the viewer by making the image more contrasty and basically forcing the viewer, forcing your audience into the scene with your main characters, right? You're forcing them to be, you know, like it's when they see your drawing, it's not a suggestion. It's not that you're saying, oh, look, they're in a sunset. You're gonna grab them by the collar and you're gonna say, here you are now in the sunset with them. How are you, what's your reaction, right? Tell me right now, because you're witnessing this precious moment right here, right? And you do this by using a lot of contrast and good management of your values, right? In comparison, let's compare it with how we first began. It's not about drawing. It's just the values and the idea of the drawing and the text is a little bit hard to read. Right? Always try to use typography when you can. You know, and this is what I would call a suggestion, right? People see this and they go, oh yeah, that's cute drawing. And they keep scrolling, right? Maybe they'll give it a like if they're feeling merciful that particular time. But then you have this one and it's like you're grabbing them. You're grabbing their attention and be like, hey, look at this. Look at what's happening right now. Check it out. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think is gonna happen? Why do you think Natsuki is like this? Is it since we're doing it so low key, right? Do you think Natsuki is in love with Yuri? Do you think that Natsuki is just happy to be her friend? Fight in the comments about it, of my drawing, right? And share it to other people so that they can have their opinion. Connecting with your viewer and storytelling, right? You catch them with the part of your with the narrative of your drawing. You're not suggesting them, hey, if you zoom in enough you can read the text, right? No, you're saying, this is my scene, what's your move, fellow DDLC enjoyer, right? So this is what we have with Gabe's drawing. And this is what we started with. I think you can tell the difference pretty well, right? By avoiding using both hard and soft edges, we make the drawing look cleaner. This scene look clearer. This is Gabe-tastic. Oh yeah. Gabe already draws super cute too. I really like his very angular style. Gabe, if you're watching this, I really love your angular style. I think it's super cute. And, you know, you put the narrative front and center. What you want to say. What you want people to look at, right? And the main point is that, wow, this is so rare. This is not a common occurrence that Yuri and Natsuki are getting along. And they're both walking together. And Yuri is the one that looks, yeah, sure, whatever. But Natsuki is the one that's a little flustered. Why is she flustered? Fight in the comments about it. Again, not a suggestion, right? You have to do it. Defend your waifu. So yeah, this would be it for Gabe's. That's pretty useful advice. It's so cool to me that such small adjustments can change the way you look at a piece. Of course. And that's the main thing. Again, that's what I think lots of people don't consider when they start drawing for social media, right? You would think that all you need is to draw quote unquote better, right? That your drawings look more realistic, that your rendering looks more realistic, softer, nicer, more 3D, right? And most of the case, it's not that. If we look at so many like viral artists of the past decade, right? We have Sarah Anderson, and all she did was little doodles. We have, if you're in the Latin American sphere, we have Elenamix. Elenamix has always had a really cute cartoony style, right? She has not become more popular because she draws realistically, right? Or like a Japanese master, or like a great cartoon master. It's because her comics and her art connect with people, and the people that see it want to share it because they go, hey, me too, man, I get it. Right? It's all about connecting with your viewer, right? You can, if you like drawing, obviously, if drawing is your hobby, eventually you're gonna learn more, you're gonna study more, and your art technique is gonna get better, right? The way you render, the way you draw, your anatomy, things like that. But all of those are just extras to what you can be doing right now if you're a social media artist, to connect with your audience and to create that niche, right? To find the people that like what you like and that like what you have to say about any franchise, any topic, your own OCs, whatever. That's what's important. I know Solly sent this one and he said it's a joke. and he says to not spend more than 5 minutes in this. So let's do it. Let's do it again. Composition, just pretty like that. The text is touching her too much here. Like it's almost too much in contact with the drawing. Here. If you wanna make it memey, I can feel my brain cell count reducing. If you wanna make it more memey, just, you know, there's a reason why 2010. Also, ways of cropping your image. Composition time. Composition time. When you have a figure, any figure, right? And you have here, and you have the little body. Well, you have the neck, chest, and the waist. This, and you have their leggies and their feet, right? When you have a figure, and this is for everyone that's watching. This is photography and film 101. You never cut the image where there's a limb or an actual cut in your body, right? If you notice, if you start looking at your movies right now, at your animes, at your photos, at your anything by professionals, you never cut your image where there's a limb or a natural body like division. Why? Because it looks like you're taking it off of them. If you frame a picture right here where the neck ends on a person, right, and this red part is your image, it's gonna look like you beheaded them. On the opposite, if you do a close-up and you cut your figure right at the chin, it's gonna look like you beheaded them. If you grab your figure again and you're like, you know, doing it like this, and you cut it at the elbow, right at the elbow, it's gonna look like you took off their lower arm. This is just psychology, all pure psychology. That some things that make the brain be uncomfortable. If you cut your figure by the knee, right? Let's say these are the knees. If you cut your figure by the knee, it's gonna look like you cut the bottom part of their knees. And this picture, if we look at it, you cut her by the ankles, and it looks like you cut off her feet. So if you're gonna cut your image, do it so at the middle of those parts, right? You either do it here at the middle of the shins, or you do it here at the middle of the thighs, or you do it here at the middle of the pelvis, or you do it here at the middle of the upper arm and chest, right? But you never actually cut them where there would actually be cuts in their body, because it makes the brain feel like they got it cut off of them. So let's fix that. Let's make her not have her feet cut off. And you can look it up right now, like how to frame a person, and you're gonna see, you know, that most people say that most people is like it's like a rule that you never ever cut them by you never ever cut a frame by where an actual person could be cut. It's an actual thing. I am not kidding. Go look it up right now. How to frame a person, photography or film, right? And you're gonna see the main rule: you never cut them where there's actual like body cuts. So let's make her be cut at here. Now she just has a black suit, so I guess it kind of doesn't matter, right? If we cut her too much, but if we cut her here, for example, in your pose, we would be cutting her arm. So let's cut it at the middle here of the shins. And then for this one, again, your handwriting is very pretty, but it's not necessarily meme-y, right? If you want to go full meme, there's a reason why the 2010s were so popular, managed such virality with their impact font, and it's because the severity of a phrase that's nonsensical front and center is funny. And she's saying something like "Ore wa chin ga daisuki." Daisuki what? Ore wa o chinchin ga daisuki nanda yo. I am not translating that phrase. Ore wa o chinchin ga daisuki nanda yo. You know. And we choose a font that's funny. What's a funny font? What a good question. A font that other people have used in memes. And here I'm gonna stick with Wild Words, which is the one that they use for manga. And let's just make it big. To even make it bigger, we can break the phrase even more. Yeah, like that. And we make it like super like this. Oh, seem to have moved the... We could have it up here, but you know, we would need to move her. I'd say put it down here so that people notice her more. And we can add like a... Make it look like she's actually yelling it, right? Now I feel like we need to make her bigger. Now I feel like the meme demands that she's bigger. We cut off her hand, but we cut it at the arm, not at the elbow. We cut it at the middle of the lower arm. And there we go. That's her meme. Big sis Anna, bad news. I gotta go. Almost done with the Mother's Day art. It's okay, Gabe. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you soon. Might have to remake this 9 years later. But you see the whole thing. Let's make her funny, right? Let's make it funny. She's actually also like she's losing her mind. She's like not framed because in here she's framed like too perfectly. Like she's just standing there and someone just took a photo, right? Make her look more chaotic. Make her look like this. Maybe we could even, I don't know, maybe this is overkill. I am a very overkill person, right? In the background with like this and maybe some blur, right? Some like motion blur. Right? Like she's moving too much around. Kinda not perfect because she still has some black here. Let's delete that, right? That's how I would do it. That's how I would redo this amazing Sully's meme 9 years later. Overkill, just complete overkill. Make the phrase front and center make your figure look chaotic. Don't cut them in places where they would actually be, where they could actually be cut. That's it. That's it for Sully's. Sully's. Now we have a very special submission. I was there when this art was being drawn. I was there. I saw the fall of Rome. The fall of Rome. No, I saw the birth of Rome. I saw the birth of Rome. At the time, I really liked it. I think the values are perfect. If we go and put on like a black and white, right? Shadows are dark, lights are really light, things in the background that don't matter are really dark, right? And well, in here, because this is by Eris Aegis, my beautiful wife, and she, in order to not have to do the background value work, she just put on a stroke to separate Sayori from the background. I see you. Yeah, that's you. I see what you did. I remember. I was there. Now, what's going on with this image? This is supposed to be Sayori as one of the daughters of that big lady from the Resident Evil Village game. What was her name? Aegis from Persona 3. I was a little less educated, skillful back in the day. Look at you now. Also, go as hard as you want to go off. That's not the point. That's not the point. I don't know, she's one of the daughters. That's not the point. The point is not to tell you, you know, this sucks, get better. Because it doesn't. Most of the time it's just little tweaks, right? Your drawing's already fine. What you need is just little tweaks to help get that narrative, that storytelling across. She's supposed to be one of the daughters from Lady Dimitrescu. I remembered her name. She's supposed to be one of the daughters of Lady Dimitrescu that in the game Resident Evil Village you have to kill in order to get to her, and then you kill her, the big boss. This was a series that she did. I thought it was really funny because Lady Dimitrescu was Natsuki in the end. I love that Natsuki. It's so cute. I thought it was really funny. And so this Sayori is supposed to be like gothic and run down and, you know, like vampiric, obviously. What is the problem with this image? There's too much, empty space, right? We have empty space here. We have empty space here. In this one, she tried to fill it with some bats, right? I appreciate the effort, but I feel like it just highlights even more so how empty this part is. Maybe if you put bats flying all around, we'll get to that. So what's going on also with the connection to the viewer? Since the eyes are so big and she doesn't really have a pupil, if you ask me, it looks like she's looking this way. Like over here. Right? She's not looking at the camera. It's like she's trying to scare off someone that's above her, and we're just there watching it happen. Right? Like we, the viewer, we're looking at this image and we're just like, yeah, what's up there? Right? Show me what's up there. So I would make it, again, connect with your viewer. Always keep that in mind. Connect with your viewer. Make them part of the action, or make them have to react so that they cannot ignore it, right? One way that we can do this is making the eyes just slightly smaller, the irises. Let's do that. Rasterize. We make the eyes slightly smaller so that we can tell when she's looking directly at us. When you look down, right, my eyes don't move. But if you grab a mirror and you look down, you can see a little bit of the white sclera of your eyes. The shading barely makes sense in like any part of this drawing, by the way. I don't know. Rule of cool, man. I think it looks cool. Layer, new layer, be a cut. If you look down, right, if you have a mirror right here, ignore Poppy's eyes. Poppy's eyes don't move. If you look down, you're gonna see part of your white sclera. Always, always, always. No matter if your eyes are big, even if your eyes are big, you're gonna be able to see how the eye almost finishes at the very top. In this one, since her eyes are so big, it doesn't look like she's looking directly at us. It looks like she's looking up. So let's just fix that by showing either lowering the eye a bit more and showing how they end. Right? How they end right at the edge. Or we can make them smaller. I think we can just get away with just making the eyes end like here. Right, we complete the iris. And then we bring it down. And now it looks like she's looking at us. You see that? That's literally like such a small difference from here to here. And now it's scary that she's looking at us, right? Because the other drawing, she's looking up and she looks, you know, she looks with her chest out and stuff. Is like, ooh, wow, so flirty, so coquettish, right? Like, she just looks pretty. And then she looks at you and you're like, whoa. Whoa, stop it. Right? It's like, oh my god, suddenly I have her all of her attention and it's making me nervous. Let's complete the her like her light blue part, and let's fix the eye, the highlights. Because now she's looking down on us, really scarily so. You know, let's make the eye shines reflect that. Sorry about that. Like, I don't know about you guys. Like, you know, I know there's a meme like creepy woman, scary woman excite me, right? Scary woman make me think things. But to me, scary woman like this are just scary. And let's complete the white of her eye. Now, if you notice, even though she's looking down, we have so much shadow, right? Around her eye. I would say get rid of all of it, because that's gonna make her look even more supernatural. Like her eyes are glowing because she's a vampire and she's looking at you. And now she looks really vicious. Top 10 scariest R moments. A witch doggy. Yeah, she kind of looks like a witch too. I'm so scared. with all of her cleavage out. Oh, it's so scary. Oh no, scary woman. Right? And let's do before and after. Just like that. Just all we did was move the eyes, man. Move the eyes and make the white of the eyes super white. Suddenly I'm not scared anymore. Right? Before and then and if we zoom in more, it's like uy, the woman. Uy, la mujer. Like I said, leaving her sclera completely white, I think makes her look even more supernatural. But if you want, we can add a little bit more shadow. I noticed that you made the shadow in like a warm color. I wouldn't recommend this because it mixes too much with the skin color. Like, it looks too close to it. And it kind of looks like she has almost no white. So I would just do like a cool color, either white or like a greenish. My favorite color to use for this, again, personal preference, right, is like a greenish, a dark greenish color. I feel like it looks very, very anime. Something like this. And it doesn't take away from the white, and there's still, you know, a little bit of volume that wasn't there before with just the pure white. Right? Looks even better and spooky. Art is so good, I love it. Yeah, I know. Like I said, most of the time your art is fine. If your drawing doesn't get enough likes, it's not your art, it's not how you're drawing. Why not multiply layer? That's another thing. Let me finish my first thought, right? Like, most of the time, it's not your art that's bad or wrong if you're not getting enough likes. what's happening is that you're not connecting with your beard. You're not making them, it's like you're not making it worthwhile for them to look at your art, right? Like when you don't put storytelling or viewer connection in your drawing, what you're telling the person that sees them, your audience, is that my drawings are cute and that's it, right? But no, like I said, you have to grab them by the neck and be like, look at my art, tell me what you think. And to do that, you have to catch their attention, you have to catch their eye. This is not a video, this has no music. All that you have are, you know, storytelling, values and contrast to call attention more, and that connection with the viewer, making them part of the art themselves. I see a lot of people start with fan art to get popular. Oh yeah, I think nowadays more than ever is way more common even to start like your draw and your art career by doing fan art, because it's what inspires you, right? And when something inspires you, there's no stopping you. There's nothing wrong with doing fan art, you know, at the beginning to try and get your art out there, to start practicing, to start seeing what's popular. Right? Fan art is wonderful. All I like drawing is fan art right now. maybe that will stunt my career in a little bit, but the panorama for fan artists is changing. Back then, it used to be shameful to have an illustration portfolio full of fan art, but now, for example, specifically with the brands that I've noticed, right? Even with DDLC, we have DDLC, right? Serenity Forge. We have Krypton Media, which are the ones that do Vocaloid and stuff. We have Genshin Impact. We have a myriad of other gacha games, right? What they look for, first and foremost, when it's a collaboration, is a fan artist. It's the popular fan artists on Twitter. And they go, hey, draw for us, right? Because our fandom really likes you, and we would love to make it official with a collaboration. There's a lot, it's how Krypton Media has operated forever, the people that manage the Vocaloid brand. They're always inviting fan artists to draw official art for them, for events, for merch and stuff. And I would imagine that they're very well paid, right? So fan art is not something to be ashamed of. It's now a gate to the industry just because of how important social media has become, and getting those likes as a brand is very important, right? And fan artists are the backbone of that. my tracking is freaking out because I put on my glove, my drawing glove. Okay, let me get some water. My water bottle almost fell, almost died. All right, water. Stay hydrated, everyone. It's so hot outside. Get some water. I think a lot of people get into drawing in the first place because of fan art even. Yeah, you know, watching people having fun drawing characters, and you go, I want to draw my own interpretation of them. So what else is happening with this drawing? I am looking at this, and let me see if I'm correct. I think you're also doing the thing that Solis did, where you were cutting the character where there's a natural cut of the body. You have your pelvis here, right? You have your leg. You are cutting it. It looks like you're cutting it like right below the knee, right below the knee. Now, since this part of the dress is pretty much the same, it doesn't really give that much that much information, right? It's not part of like an important outfit. It's just like a black cloak dress. I would go ahead and just cut it at the thigh. Making things closer, having these tighter angles in your drawings also help to call to attention a lot more, right? It's not the same looking at a picture of a person just standing hello there in the back and then having them really close, right? And be like, hey, what's up? Witness me. So do that. Put that. Use those tight, close angles also to have your viewer be closer to the character in a way, right? I put it over here. Now, again, this was supposed to be like a set, I guess it's like a postcard kind of like deal, to have all of the 4 dokis together and look like they're part of a group. So I'm not gonna talk about the composition here, because what you have here is a little flat. You have this here, and you have this here, right? I would play a little bit more. If this was a different drawing and not part of like a postcard kind of style drawings, I would play a little bit more with the angle with this one. You know, maybe like turning this a little more, making this one go like this so that, you know, eventually they connect, or putting this one a little bit more like this or like that, right? Just play with that a little more. I never ended up putting them all together though, because they all look vastly different, because I got better at drawing between each drawing. That's the thing that happens. I am very happy when that happens to me, but I can see how it'd be frustrating when you're trying to make them all look the same, right? When you're still growing. Now, let's do something about these bats. What's the problem? What's the problem here with the bats? Now, the bats are just way darker than your character. Let's bring our values, our grayscale layer. The bats, the first thing that people are gonna look at when they look at your drawing, when they look at anything, this is something that we're taught in graphic design, right? Is the boldest part of it. The boldest part of any image, your viewer, your audience is gonna immediately focus on that. It's why colors like red are so used in branding, right? Because it's why red is the color that we use for the stop signs and stoplights in traffic. It's because they're colors that when you put them under the grayscale, right? We're gonna go with the red here. When you put them under the grayscale, in this case is like almost the color of your thing, but well, against normal backgrounds and stuff, it's a color that just jumps out at you a lot. And the same thing happens, and this is why lots of artists say to never use pure black or never use pure white in your drawings, because it's gonna steal away the attention from your main character of the illustration, right? What I would do with these bats, I think these bats are nice. They are a bit too close to Sayori, so it looks like they're like right above her. It doesn't look like they're behind her or in front of them. It looks like they're with her, and that makes it look a little bit flat, right? I think you could play a little bit more with depth, right? With what's in front and then what's back. So let's do that. By that, we do it by either making them... We have one to get rid of the pure black with these bats. Let me take them off. Why am I saying that it makes your image look flat? Because these bats are nowhere near, you know, they're symbols of what bats look like. They are nowhere like what an actual bat looks like. So when you have them that close, the symbolism just breaks, right? It doesn't look... They don't look like actual bats. They look like symbols of bats, but they're like too close. So they look really flat, and the illusion gets broken, right? It's not the same having a bird way back there, right, in the background, and you can only see like a little check mark, and you know it's a bird because it's in the sky, rather than having it here right in front of you, and you see a big check mark, and you go, I think that's a bird, but why does it look like that if it's so close? I just realized this was supposed to be Sayori. Yeah, this is Sayori. Like I said, she's supposed to be dressed as the select modify. No, any layer B. Yeah, cut. She's supposed to be the dressed up as the daughter of Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village. So let's get rid of this black, and for that I'm gonna add a layer of luminosity, I think. Screen. I think screen work. And let's make it... fill it up. Then we lower. Right? Like that. They already have a white outline, so you're gonna be able to see them against the background and make them smaller. Because again, like I said, if these are supposed to be bats, when we would have it nearby, it should look like a bat, like a realistic bat. But if they look like that, it means that it's because they're far, far away. So let's just make them way smaller, way smaller. Far, far away. Far, far away from her. How can we make it look even more like they're far, far away from her? We add a little bit of blur. Let me color in the background here. And I see you have like a gradient. Oh. Okay, sorta kinda. And the bats, they're smaller. They're smaller, and we can make them. We can make them have a little bit of a blur. Got the white outline. Okay. And we name it bats. Right? We can also make this one merge down. We can also make way more bats, like I said, because these bats only being here kind of point out the fact that all of this part is empty. So let's just, if you added bats there, why stop there? Just add them everywhere. Don't stop just because you think it's enough or something, you know? Make her have like bats everywhere. She's a mold vampire at the end, right? Let's play a little bit more with the composition of these ones, right? So it looks like they're flying like in the same direction, but not quite. Let's vary it a little bit. There's nothing that the human eye finds more snooze inducing than how is it, like having everything be and look the same. So let's just add a bunch more bats, and we can add even smaller bats, right? That they're like further away even. Oh my god, I can see. I can take it. There you go. Right? Let's just make them be everywhere. Let's just play with that. Now, how am I choosing where to put the bats? Or how you should, now that I'm looking at them, right? You should use the bats to help guide your, well, you should put, if you're gonna put like random, you know, the classic random bullshit in the background, go. You should make it so that it helps your drawing. Hey fellow shrimps, I think I might have to leave now, but I feel like I've learned quite a lot. Thank you, Poppy, for the stream. Take care, everyone. See you. Thank you so much for joining, Jose. Thank you. You can watch the bot when it's finished, and you know, hopefully there's way more than you can learn there as well. Bye, Jose. Thank you so much for joining. That makes sense, since his daughters are entirely made of bugs. Oh yeah. So if you're gonna do the random bullshit go in your drawings, don't just random bullshit go them. Have them do heavy lifting. Have them do something in your art. How can you do that? Is put them in a way where they're pointing at your main character. This bat, for example, this one right here, is pointing right at Sayori. This one is pointing right at her hand. This one is pointing right at her chest. This one is pointing right at her chest as well. Or, you know, if you elongate it at her, right? These ones are going up and going out. These ones are more for like ambience, right? But all of the other ones, this one's pointing at this one, which is pointing at this one. All of the other ones, you know, put them to work. Put them to work. Put them to help you guide the eye of your viewer so that they know what your viewer knows what to look at, right? And like I said, let's go in with a little bit of blur so that it looks like they're far away. Right? The smaller bats are gonna be blurrier than the others because it means that they're further back. And the bats that are the closest are gonna be blurred less. Just play with that a little bit. Right? And we have our bats. In here, for example, I feel like it looks too empty, so let's add another bat here. Let's make it, like I said, point to her. That, yeah, just like that. And now we go back to my drawing is creepy, but the illustration experts say that I shouldn't put anything too dark near my character. What should I do? Just add the halo. Just add the halo, man. Even if it's supposed to be scary, you don't have to make it, you know, you don't have to make it look like Jesus. You don't have to make it look like she's the second coming of Jesus. And, you know, it's super bright and stuff. All you have to do is kind of draw it in. And then you just lower the opacity a bit. Just like that. Ever so slightly, like, obvious. You see what's happened? We're here close and we go, okay, yeah, she has a halo. And then let's zoom out. Wow, her face, what's supposed to be important. Her looking at us. And it also looks super creepy. It's the halo. Without it and with it. It gives it a little oomph, right? A little something extra. Without it and with it. Without it and with it. It is like, whoa. I can really see her. It looks like one of those old horror movie posters, like, right? The Dracula ones and the Frankenstein ones, where the monster is like extremely lit up for you to see and gawk at. Before and after. This is before and after. Before and after. It's like there's a stage light on her. Exactly. Yeah, it's like there's a stage light on her. There is absolutely no doubt that she's the main character in this postcard. And let's see how it looks. Let's grab Oliver, Sayuri Vampire. Right? This is what we started with. Like this. And this is what we have now. Again, what we started with and what we have now. I think the connection and the pulling of your eyes is like way stronger in this one that we just made than in this one. Like I said, this one had the problem of there was like empty space and it looks like she was looking somewhere else, right? Didn't look too scary. And now she looks like a true Hollywood monster. That's what I think. I hope this helped you. I hope this helped you, haters. I know this drawing, it's been some time, but you know, it's also something we were talking about the other day, me and her, about drawings and how to do that, how to make them eye catchy. And this is it. This is it. Before and after. So that's Eris. Thank you so much, Eris, for sharing your art with us today. Now, the next one, and I think it's gonna be the last one of the stream. I think you're bang on with the corrections. Well, your advice is really good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Little things that I've learned here and there, not only by drawing, but also being, you know, an audience myself. I love fan art. I love fan art. I love watching it. So this next drawing, let's do the funny little clap. Next drawing. The next drawing has been submitted by Cyberstar. Through Cyberstar. Thank you so much, Cyber, for submitting your art to today's stream. And we have a little comic. Man, comics. Comics are so cool, eh? Comics are literally taking the storytelling element to the max. Right? There is no way nobody's gonna stop and not read this. Spicy. Oh yeah, very spicy, very spicy. I see the owl at the bottom with the little green heart from Monica. But I thought this was like a meme. Like in, I don't know if you guys know South Park. The scene where Cartman is laying down in bed with what's supposed to be Michael Jackson. I thought of that meme immediately. And lost. And honestly, when I see this, right, all of this comic is really cute. But then we get to this part, and MC's face is darkened. Right? I know maybe it's to... And not only is his face darkened, which makes him look a little bit, in my opinion, scary, right? That's how delinquents and villains are like shaded in like much of manga and anime. He looks like a man with bad intentions. Yeah, it doesn't look like, and it's not even like bad intentions, like, ooh, you know, naughty intentions, vampire coded. Yeah, it looks like a villain. It looks like a delinquent. Like he's gonna do bad things to Sayori and she's not gonna like it, right? And that's just by shading the eyes. That's the symbolism. This little, you know, brown/dark square carries. And not only that, but he's not smiling, right? We have Monica saying "aw" and everything, but he's not smiling. He has his mouth is like a frown. Sayori looks maybe a little bit like she's smiling, right? Like she's getting prepared for the kiss, right? If we cover MC right now, right? Sayori looks cute, like she's awaiting her kiss, right? Her kiss from her knight. But now, if we do the opposite, and we cover Sayori, MC looks like he's mad, like he's yelling, right? If we didn't have Sayori in the image, and then we have Monica saying "aw," it looks a little bit scary, right? It looks a little bit like what's going on? I thought this was supposed to be a cute little comic. So I think all of the comic here, you know, we have, once you see how much better it looks, you change your mind. This is funny. What is? Well, I was just thinking how weird it is to have a friend who does this kind of thing, you know, and we have very clear who speaks first, who speaks, you know, what's first, what's second, what's third. Don't say that. You'll make him feel weird about it, dummy, right? He has a little blush. His blush is black for some reason. I would make it red just to really get the point across. It's okay, though. I'm happy like this, aren't you? Aw, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then we have this, right? And this little panel, you know, if we get rid of this little panel here, all of the comic is like super cute and super sweet, and they're always smiling at each other, right? MC is like super flustered and stuff. Something I noticed is that Sayori is not flustered. Maybe she's the one that knew where this was going. But all of this comic is so cute. And then you get to this last panel, and it looks scary, right? Again, let me just get this across really well. If you cover Sayori, MC looks scary. It looks like he's yelling. It looks like he's mad. So really, all we need to do for this is fixing this last little panel, which is supposed to be the payoff, the ending of this little comic, right? It's supposed to be what the reader read so much for, the emotional payoff. And let's make it look happy. Let's make it look, you know, there's nothing wrong with making things look happy, right? Maybe you meant for it to look a little bit more like what is it, like erotic or something? But I feel like darkening his eyes, like completely covering them, makes it look like a villain. So let's change that. And also, you managed to do that with Sayori. Sayori's not outright smiling for the kiss, right? But she doesn't look like she's sad or mad. All we have to do is do that with MC. First, let's bring his face back, right? You have to draw the eyes. If you want your character, the eyes, they say, is the window to the soul, right? If you want your character to be a character, right, that has good intentions and that it's sweet, you have to keep the eyes completely uncovered, right? Maybe you were trying to not draw the eyes. But again, cutting corners in this part of your art, you know, it's gonna make like I said, the payoff just not pay off well for the people, for your audience that are reading this, that are watching it. So instead of hiding his face, let's just add his eye. It doesn't even have to be like an open eye, right? Because I don't know, call me crazy, but if you kiss someone with an open eye, it's like a little weird, a little creepy. You know, we can just make his eye be closed. Let's remove the flow because he has, right? Because of the angle, when he closed his eyes, we would see it like this. A little bit. Cyber does the eyes really long. A little bit closer to here, right? And, you know, we can add a little bit more. I think it has to be even bigger. For it to look like Cyber's style. And to make it even more, like, expressive, so that he doesn't look scary, let's just add, you know, his eyebrows. Like, oh, he's so waiting for this kiss. He's waiting so long. He's been waiting so long. Man, I can't speak. Right? His eyebrow. Just make it expressive. There is nothing wrong with making your art expressive. Let's paint in the eyebrow here. Make him look like he's in love. God damn it. Also, I think it's very cool that the DLC community is still going strong after so many years since it blew up. Oh, you have no idea. There's so much of the DLC still going around, and people who feel very strongly and very connected with it. It's amazing. In my opinion, it's amazing. I think I remember playing the game all the way back in 2017. I played it completely blind, you know, not even like with no spoilers of anything at all. Let's make his blush red as well, so that it looks like blush. And it was really special. The message that it gives you, right? That losing time to distractions and stuff like that can hurt your friends and things like that, right? You have to go out more, and your actions and inactions, you know, not doing anything matters, right? I would give Sayori a little bit of blush too, even if she's the one that's initiating it. It's just a very special game, and I think it'd be really hard to ignore it, right? Now let's add some blush to the MC. But now with the eyebrow, it looks like he's like he's yelling. I think the problem here with this drawing is that MC's mouth also, you know, doesn't look like he's about to receive a kiss. It looks like he's just opening it like ah. So let's change that. Let's do something more like Sayori's, right? I think Sayori's looks really cute. So let's do that with MC as well. Why can't MC have a cute mouth as well? Even if he's a boy. Right? Let him have a cute mouth. Let him have his cute mouth. But yeah, Sonic Min, I think that's why the game has like lived so long. It's just really special. Everything it has to say is just awesome. We can add him a little bit of a slight smile to contrast with Sayori, so that it's not the same mouth, right? We could even make it look like he's smiling, right? Like he's playful and they're having fun. If Monica is going, "Aw," then it means that, you know, something really cute must be happening. I would even go for the kiss right now. You know, I would leave in the kiss, you know, instead of teasing it. But I get the idea behind teasing it and having it be like, I don't know if she's interrupting them either. Right? I don't know if this comic has a second part where Monica's, you know, supposed to interrupt them when they're having their little moment. But yeah, you know, let's make him look like a man with happy intentions. that he's having fun with his childhood friend and now crush. They're about to kiss and they're so happy. Right? And then either Monica looks at them and she goes, oh, or she's about to interrupt them. Right? Anyway, it's a pretty important moment. Because this is a pretty important and like key moment, I would not leave the background. If you notice, the background here in your comic repeats. We have gray, 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 and gray again. Right? Let's use a little bit more of that anime symbolism. And let's make the kiss, you know, have the anime in love, you know, background with the bubbles and the pink and the white clouds, right? Like there's something really special and romantic is happening, right? Let's pick it up. Select, modify, expand just a little bit by 1 pixel. Aha. Let's make it pink, the color of love, right? And again, we can look. You can look for references. Let's do a. Right, if we go here and we look up like anime in love background. We see, you know, oh, now we have things like this, right? We see the pink, we see the hearts, the little bubbles. We have some symbolism here with some of the leaves, like the love is blossoming. In anime, historically, it's always been the bubbles and the little shapes in the back, right? Even pure white in moments of kisses, all of this, right? So let's grab that symbolism and let's apply it here as well. Again, this is personal preference. I'm a big fan of clouds. Of the white clouds. Right, it looks like it makes the background look like cotton candy in my mind. Let's add some lighter pink parts. Right, some of those like abstract shapes. This and then like this. Right, like this. And obviously, right, let's add some of the anime bubbles. I have some brushes that I've used. Bubbles. You can make your own anime bubbles really easy by doing this. Check this out. Check this out. If you don't have brushes or if you have a program that doesn't have brushes, you can just grab a soft brush, this, right? And make like a bubble. Oh no, actually you grab a hard brush, sorry about that, right? And you make your bubbles. You put them around and stuff, right? And then you grab a soft brush and you erase part of the inside. Yeah, with an eraser, You grab an eraser and you erase the inside. And you see? Bam! We have bubbles now. We have anime bubbles again. We go here and we erase this. Bam! Anime bubbles. Anime bubble. Anime bubble. Anime bubble. So many anime bubbles, right? And there we go. We have our cool anime bubbles. And we can do it as many times as we want, right? For the drawing. Let's make some that are a little smaller here, right? Some that break over here. We grab our cool soft brush and we erase anime bubble. Erase here, anime bubble, anime bubble. There we go. And, you know, this is extra, totally overkill. You don't have to, but I also really like to put on like little shines. Yeah, so that it looks very like shiny and in love. Let's try not to put anything in the mouths because that's where our area of interest is. Everything should be around and across. And we put some little glistens. Right? And now it looks like they're having a very romantic moment. Very cute. This is wow, you must have been terrified. The horror really got to me in this game. It really was worse than getting jump scared. The constant state of discomfort is something really only this game did to me so far. Oh yeah. When you're alone with Monica, that third act, and she calls you by the name you have your computer like registered down as, it really put me up. I was like, oh wow. Oh shit. She's actually in the game, right? I think Undertale did something similar with Flowey closing your game. And yeah, and now we have a payoff. Now, if you want to go even further into selling this as this big, cute, romantic moment, I would have the background, you know, since you have so many... Hey, let's name it love. Since you have so many gray backgrounds here, right? This is gray, this is gray, 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 gray. I think it'd be really cute if you make them gradually pinker. Right? Just a little bit of pink and then pinker, pinker, pinker. Like something's happening, something's changing. The scene's getting more romantic, right? Just something like that. Let's name this backgrounds. Now and and this one's almost is getting pink, right? And this one too. But we put it at a lighter shade, right? And now it's like a gradient here. Any changes, you know, it's something different from what you had here. This line of narrative of thought, and now here is different. It starts to get different. You can even go in and start adding some bubbles, you know, from the very bottom. You know, like they're starting to pop up. They're starting to creep up into the scene as it's becoming more and more, the tension is becoming more and more romantic, right? I think that'd be really good. You know, just very few in the beginning. And then you get some more here. Just something to help that symbolism that the scene is about to become, you know, really like corny and romantic, like so. And then little by little, you have your own cute, bam, emotional payoff, romantic moment. I'm lucky hearing the Tomodachi Life music in my mind at the last panel. I think I played a bit too much of it. Yeah, right? The dun 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 dun. And there we go, right? And we have this, now we have this big emotional payoff of, you know, them starting to get closer and closer and closer to each other. So cute, so adorable, like, aw, they're in love, you know, they love looking into each other's eyes, right? And let's see how it compares to the other one. So in the beginning, we have this, right? We have cute emotional kiss. Exactly, cute emotional kiss. In the beginning, we have this, right? Oh yeah. And aw, the moment, right? But, you know, the background still stays in like gray. MC looks really scary with his face covered like that, right? It looks like he's yelling, like he's mad or something. We have Monica going, aw, like it's cute, but you know, it kind of doesn't really fit. Versus our new payoff. The big, cute, emotional kiss. And it also helps because this last panel is different from this first one, right? And so it makes people read into, oh, how did we get from here to here, right? Like, I want to find out. I want to see the comic and I want to find out what's happening. So yeah, this is what I would do if the moment was supposed to be like cute and romantic. If you want it to look a little bit, I would do it differently. If you want to make it look a little bit more, like I said, like erotic or like risque. But if we go in, again, I'm not sure what the second page of this comic is. I don't know if Monica is really saying "oh" at them, or if she's looking to interrupt them and embarrass them. Either way, I think it would be a really good play to go full into the corny, super cute, flirty anime romance style of scene. You know, they're starting to become closer, and the kiss is happening, and oh, they're so in love, and it's so cute. And then Monica goes, "Aw." Right? This is what I would do. Again, the way your emotional payoff, if you're going full into the narrative like this, you have to make sure that it's something that your audience and your viewer expect, right? You have to do something with that attention that you have grabbed since the beginning of your comic, right? And you have to show them that it's worthwhile to stay and read your comic, right? You have to show them, hey, if you stay and read this, you're gonna get something really awesome at the end. And for that, you have to live up to the hype. Right? You have a lot of text, and you have so many panels, and they're all so well carefully like shaded and colored, right? It's not sketchy. You have clean lines. So, you know, go to the max. Show your audience, show your audience why it's important for them to stay and stick till the very end to read. Right? And do it in a way that's something that they expect. Using symbolism, using colors, using scenes from other media that you enjoy, that you like, right? All of that is your own personal preference. But be sure to leave the message, to leave the message really, really clear, so that there's no misunderstanding at all. The moment there's a disconnect, the moment there's something like a disconnect, between, you know, what you want to convey and your drawing, it's the moment where you lose your audience, right? Because like I said, maybe if they look at the original comic, some people are gonna go, oh, you know, haha, he has naughty intentions with Sayori, and something hot's gonna happen. Or maybe it's gonna be someone like me, right? Who looks at this and goes, why is MC angry? Why is he not happy to be kissing her? He was just smiling in the last panel, right? Why did he stop smiling? Why is he approaching her like this so menacingly with his eyes covered, right? So just make sure that you have the message that you want to give extremely clear in your mind, and then use symbols that are already known by others, you know, to convey that. Pink is the color of love, very, very like ancient symbolism, right? Pink is the color of love, blue is the color of sadness, green is the color of nature, but also illness sometimes, white is the color of purity, gray is the color of like indifference, just little things like that, right? The bubbles in anime convey love and blossoming and like the feelings that make you go like all floaty and stuff. In manga, for example, in shoujo manga, it's not bubbles, it's roses, right? Because there's a love that's blossoming into something that wasn't there before, right? It was something deep inside like a seed, and then it finally blossomed. I think some heterosexual like love manga, like shonen and stuff, when there's like characters, a male and a female that fall in love, they also use roses sometimes. It depends. I've seen more bubbles. I think it's more like a shoujo or like a yuri thing where they use flowers, because it means that something that was really dormant that finally popped out, you know, little things like that. And all of those you have to learn by analyzing everything that you consume, right? All of your animes, all of your movies, right? In movies, the way love is conveyed is that suddenly everything in the background blurs out, right? Everything in the background blurs out, and the noise comes down, and there's no one in the world but them both. In a normal like Hollywood movie scene, the falling in love would be, you know, the classic, she turns around in slow motion and he's looking at her like, whoa, kind of like Tomodachi Life does it actually, right? And he's caught in her, and suddenly the background disappears and there's just the two of them against the world, right? But all of those you have to build up in order to know which ones you're gonna use in your drawings, you have to build up your mental library. You have to look at these things and go, why did I think that this was romantic? Why did I think that this was sad? And you look at how all of these different authors did it, and then you're gonna be able to use it in your own content, in your own drawings. I'm not gonna call drawings content. I'm sorry, that was it's drawings. Drawings are not necessarily content. They're an expression, they're a message, they're little bits of you, all of what you've learned, all of what you've done, all of what you've worked hard for. And you're finally communicating it to your audience. You're putting yourself out there and you're hoping that they get the message. So, don't make it harder for them. Get your message with universal symbols, or create your own even, right? I think there's many artists that become really popular because they find something niche that others had never looked at it in a certain way, right? And you go, oh, so this can also be romantic. Or, oh, this can also be sad, right? Things that you'd never considered. And that's because it's your own personal twist. What you like, what you don't like, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. So yeah, never underestimate the power of connecting with your audience, connecting with your viewer. Storyteller. Become a storyteller. Do storytelling, use symbols, use contrast to catch the attention of your viewer, of your audience. That's everything that you need to make it big in this social media art space. For people to look at your art, you have to you have to force them to look at it. And when they do, that they like it, right? And then you'll receive those sweet likes and reposts. And little by little, by showing a little bit more, like I said, of yourself, the symbols that you like, how you portray certain situations, you're gonna start finding your niche. Who's storyteller? Haha, storyteller. Yeah, storyteller. Shout out to storyteller. Storyteller, if you're watching this. The biggest figure of DDLC Twitter at the moment. And has been for the last 2 years. Just not unimportant. Dear friend, dear confident. So yeah, we were missing this last drawing by Wincito. Wincito, I'm gonna be honest, I am grasping at straws. I think your art is wonderful. And I think it's reflected, in your growth. Not only as an artist, but also, in your own social media and your sphere and your fans and everything. I think it's shown a lot. I'm sure I can find something. But right now, we've run out of time. Thank you so much, everyone who submitted their drawings. Thank you so much to Atasoth, to Gabe, to Solis, even if it was a meme, to Eris, to Cruz Cyberstar, to Wincito as well, even though we couldn't get to it today. Thank you so much for submitting your art. I hope that this tips, is something that you're gonna keep in mind for the future, and that it's something that when you start implementing in your drawings, you can see some results. Because really, that's all that was missing in these drawings. There's nothing to change in your technique, nothing to change in your anatomy. In this one, in your comic crews, the angles and stuff, they come across really well. I can tell that MC is looking down at Sayori in this panel, right? And in this one as well. Sure, they could be maybe more technically elaborate, but the whole idea is just to get the point across, right? The scene and everything, and you do that perfectly already. Just be careful with your symbolism and your message. Make your message clear and be careful of how you convey it. Thank you so much again, everyone. Thank you so much, Shrimplings. This is the second week of streaming. Woo! We did it. We keep doing it. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you so much for submitting your art, for talking in the Shrimp Tank Discord. Shrimp Tank Discord, link in the description. I'm also gonna put it in chat. I have it right here. I have it ready ever since I've forgotten to get it ready. Join the Shrimp Tank today. Shrimp Tank Discord. I'm gonna pin it as well for this last little bit. All right. You're going strong. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Sonic Mean. I really appreciate it. I'm trying my best. I'm having so much fun connecting with you guys and getting to be your big sister, sharing what I have to, what I've learned with you. I hope it really works. I hope it helps you a lot. Thank you again. Oh, emotional music to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining. I'll be preparing the schedule for next week. I want to have one of these upcoming streams be a community day gaming. I'm gonna put some polls in the Shrimp Tank Discord in the announcements channel so that you guys can vote and we can vote at what time is better for you and what game you want to be playing. It's gonna be between Gartic Phone, Mario Kart Deluxe 8, and Jackbox. And you know, we can set it up. I'll set it up as soon as we have that information. But yeah, if you want to be part of these community days, join the Shrimp Tank. That's where I'm gonna be sending the codes and the links and everything in order to be able to participate. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday and on the Shrimp Tank. I know where to go for advice if I decide to start drawing. Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much, guys, for yet another awesome art stream type tips stream. And another awesome another awesome week at streaming. Thank you so much for being here. Stay shrimp, stay hunched, don't shower, sleep a lot. See you guys. Bye bye.